Hi everyone, today we're doing notes for 8.3, simple interest. All of us will borrow money and invest money many times over in our lifetimes. There are several words that we hear often when talking about money that you should be familiar with. The first is principal. This is the amount of money we deposit or borrow, or in other words, our starting amount. Next is interest, the amount of money that we get paid for lending or investing money, or that we pay for borrowing money. Next is rate, the amount of interest given as a percent. This amount varies. Interest rates depend on whether we are borrowing money or investing money. It should make sense that a bank pays a smaller interest rate for money you invest than it charges for money you borrow. Okay, simple interest. This is interest calculated only on the principal. So in the next section, we'll talk about compound interest, where when investing, you not only earn interest on the principal, but you also earn interest on the interest earned. Unfortunately, this also means when borrowing money, you have to pay interest not only on what you borrowed, but you will also pay interest on the interest that has accrued on what you borrowed. So for calculating simple interest, this is our formula. Interest is equal to the principal times rate times time. So again, our principal times our rate times time. So I equals PRT, the rate R that is used as a decimal. The units of time need to be the same on the interest rate and on time. Most rates given can be assumed to be annual unless otherwise stated. So again, annual means that this is yearly. So a student takes out a $5,000 simple interest student loan at a rate of 7.8%. How much is the interest on the loan if he keeps it for 4 years? So 4 years, this is our time. We have $5,000 is how much he's taking out, so that's our principal. And our rate is 7.8%. So if we write this as a decimal, R is equal to 0.078. Using our formula, I equals PRT. So I want you to please find the interest here. Okay, if we plug in everything we have, I equals 5,000 times 0.078 times 4, and that gives us $1,560. How much is the interest on the loan if he keeps it for 100 days? So now our time is changing. And we said our units have to be the same. So in this case, our time is a fraction of a year. So this is 100 out of 365 days that make up the year. So please calculate the interest for this one. I equals, we're going to have 5,000 times 0.078 times 100 over 365. And so this gives us interest of $106.85. So fun fact, a banker's rule, a rule that allowed banks to use 360 days instead of 365 days as a year. This was to make computations simpler when computing using paper and pencil. This rule is not used much anymore since computations are now done with computers and calculators. Okay, Future value is principal plus interest. When a loan is repaid or an investment is cashed out, the interest is added to the principal to get its future value. So to calculate future value for simple interest, A is equal to P plus PRT, or A equals P times in parentheses 1 plus RT. In other words, your A is equal to your principal plus your interest. So A is the amount due or future value. P is the amount of money borrowed now or the present value. So we have a student takes out a $5,000 simple interest student loan at a rate of 7.8%. So this is the same problem we were just looking at. So again, our principal is the $5,000. Our rate is 0.078. And we want the future value if he keeps it for 4 years. So our T is 4, like we had at the beginning. So what's the future value of the loan if he keeps it for 4 years? Go ahead and find this one, please. Okay, so I'm going to show you can use either formula here. So we can use our A is equal to P plus PRT. So that's 5,000 plus 5,000 times 0.078 times 4. So that's 5,000 plus our 1,560, which gives us a future value of 6,560. If we use the other formula, we have A is equal to P times 1 plus RT. So that's 5,000 times 1 plus 0.078 times 4. And this also gives us 6,560. So personal preference, you can use either formula. You see you get the same answer. So now it says for B, what is the future value of the loan if he keeps it for 9 months? So again, this is now a partial year. So for time, we're going to use 9 over 12 because it's 9 of the 12 months, or 9/12 of a year. Go ahead and find this one, please. Okay, so A is equal to, let's do 5,000 times 1 plus 0.078 times 9 over 12. And we get a future value of $5,292.50. Okay, number 3 says, if you borrow $3,000 from your parents for school and pay them back $3,200 in 4 years, what simple interest rate did you pay? So in this case, our principal is $3,000. You pay them back $3,200. So that's actually the future value because that's how much you're reimbursing them in 4 years' time. So that's our time. What simple interest rate did you pay? So we're solving for R here. So I want you to set this one up and try to solve for it. Okay, so our formula A is equal to P plus PRT. So we have 3,200 equals 3,000 plus 3,000 times R times 4. So I subtract 3,000 and I have 200 is equal to, if I multiply 3,000 times 4, that's 12,000 R. Then we divide by 12,000, and I get R is equal to 0.016 repeating. So this will come out to be 1.67%, or you could say 1 2/3%, or you could say 1.6 repeating percent. I would say let's round this to 1.67 just because that's the easiest one to keep track of if we go to the hundredths place on the percent. Okay, last one. If parents want to invest money in an account that earns a simple interest rate of 4.25%, such that there's $2,000 in the account 18 years later, how much should they invest today? In other words, we're looking for the present value. Please try this one. Okay, so we have a simple interest rate of 4.25%, so that means our R is 0.0425. We want $2,000 in the account, so that is A, our future value. 18 years later is our time. So we're looking for how much they should invest today. In other words, we're looking for P. So A is equal to, I'm going to use this formula, P times 1 plus RT, because we're solving for P, so it's easier to use the one where the P is already factored out. So we have 2,000 equals P times 1 plus, then we have 0.0425 times 18. So that gives us 2,000 equals 1.765p. We divide by 1.765, and we get that our P, or our principal, is equal to $1,133.14. And that's all we have for today.